Hey everyone, I am the Raging Raven, and this is a gold format deck that I'm going to be doing for you guys. I haven't been doing anything particularly decent with the Should All Sealed Only deck, and that's mainly because the pack simulators are really heavily in favour towards you if you're deciding to use those as simulations to open actual packs, and I realised after my fourth one I was pretty much just getting everything that I needed from those packs without having real one-to-one ratios of what's the pull ratios of the pack. So I thought to myself for the time being, I'm not going to be doing any sealed-only content until that is actually opening packs, until this whole quarantine stuff is locked down. So I figured to myself, why not just do a couple of deck profiles, and this is one of them, being a Go format deck. Now, I'm trying to build 20 Go format decks because some of the lads at my locals and I have been falling in love with Go format recently. We've been pretty much having an outrageous amount of fun with this format, and there's actually hopes of some GOAT tournaments actually happening at my locals, but I know that not a lot of people are going to have GOAT decks, so I'm building 20 and I'm using those as sort of randomized draft decks that people can pick up at random and use that for the tournament, and this is one of them. If I was going to be entering any form of GOAT format tournament myself, I think this one would be the one I'd be entering with the most. But with that being said, let's just shut up and actually get to the video. To the profile, sorry. So we're of course running the solo Blacklisted Soldier. He's like the big all end all boss monsters in this format. There's pretty much just very little hopes of actually trying to get around him. The Chaos Sorcerer. He's alright. He's like BLS, but a little bit smaller. But he can attack the turn he uses his banish effect like BLS, but he doesn't have an additional effect amongst BLS whatsoever. But that being said, that doesn't mean that he is a monster that is not worth looking over. He is still a pretty formidable force of nature in and amongst itself, and it's a decent monster for this deck type in particular. The one Jinzo, I hate traps, and pretty much just throwing down a Jinzo is going to be pretty much a game ender in GOAT format if you manage to pull him off or not. And the one in Night Parshaft. So there's very little explanation you need for Parshaft. He pretty much beats over the scapegoat tokens, and he lets you draw a card. It's ridiculous in how good he is. And the variant I'm playing is Pixie Control. So Pixie Knight is literally really good in this format. You just stuff your spell card counts with the Trinity and some other useful cards as well, and you pretty much use them as your go-to cards for the format, and your opponent is pretty much forced to let you plus every single time with the power cards of that format. So Pixie Knight really helps make this deck really strong. And to help add on to the aspect with the Chaos Monsters of BLS and Chaos Sorcerer, I'm running triple Thunder Dragon. It's ridiculous on how good this card is. You ditch him, you add another one, then you ditch that one to add the final guy. Plus he's also good for being fodder for Graceful Charity and your opponent's Delinquent Duo. It's just really good as a whole. The one Exiled Force is a really good monster to help out anything and everything, especially with priority being in the game. I could just summon him, use this effect, and then my opponent will be forced to flip up Torrential Tribute just to get rid of any other monsters that I may have. It's just really good, especially within this format. The DD Warrior Lady is also phenomenal in this deck, just really helpful of getting rid of anything that your opponent may have that's problematic to you. You just summon her, crash into it, and then forcefully banish it. It's just really good. As well as the Tsukiyomi, not as powerful as DD Warrior Lady in my eyes, but still very powerful nonetheless. Just Book of Mooning anything, and then it returns to your hand to be used as another Book of Moon. She's just ridiculous. And the Recruiter Engine of Double Mystic Tomato and Double Shining Angel. There's no need to explain anything else with these guys. They're recruiters, basically. Also, to go off with the Mystic Tomato. I'm running the one Sangan, just as a target for Mystic Tomato, and my target for Shining Angel is of course Pixie Knight, but DD Warrior Lady could also be a potential target as well. I'm of course running the one Sinister Serpent as well. It's just good as a whole. And for flip monsters, I'm running double Koichi and double Mystic Elf. The Koichi draws and Mystical Elf grabs back any spells in your graveyard that you need to grab back. So it's a very, very draw heavy, get resources and get everything sort of ready deck, so to speak. And trust me when I say this, this deck is ridiculous. So, of course, with Pixie Control you only run 6 spell cards at the bare maximum, and these are my 6. It's of course a no-brainer of a Pot of Greed, a Graceful Charity, with Delinquent Duo, Snatch Steal, Premature Burial, and Bait Doll. So, for anyone who's kind of new to GOAT, you may be wondering why the hell am I running Bait Doll over something like Mystical Space Typhoon? Well, that something is quite simple. If you have Mystical Space Typhoon in this deck and you use it to snipe out one of your opponent's cards, and you're forcing it to the graveyard, if you have Pixie Knight and your opponent sees that you have Mystical Space Typhoon, Pot of Greed, and Delinquent Duo, they're not going to put Delinquent Duo or Pot of Greed back on top of your deck, because what Pixie Knight needs to do is actually needs to be killed off by battle, which can be easily done by your opponent being an idiot and crashing into it, or you just simply kamikazing it into an opponent's stronger monster. They're not going to put that Pot of Greed and Delinquent Duo back on top of the deck for your next draw. They're going to put back the Mystical Space Typhoon. What Bait Doll does is that it snipes out a trap, but at the same time it gives you knowledge on what spells are where, and as soon as it's done that, it flings itself back to the deck. So even if your opponent does activate something like Solemn Judgment against it, it's not going to do them any good in the long run, because even if Pixie Knight is summoned and they put back Bait Doll, it's going to fling itself back to the deck as soon as it snipes out another spell or trap. So those are the only spell cards I run in this GOAT deck. Finally for the traps, and oh boy, in excuse me, in this variant there's a lot of them. The Rod for game is of course very, very powerful, and the Mirror Force just to wipe out a board is just devastating. Bottomless Trap All as well. Like I think this is GOAT. I think I have seen some GOAT decks play this, but I need to double check that. If not, Trap All is just as good. Torrential Tribute is just ludicrously good. Magic Cylinder is hilarious if you can pull it off. I think this was at multiples in GOAT format, but shows how good I am at GOAT format, because as I stated earlier on, we just gotten into the format and have just been enjoying it so much. So, Magic Cylinder, Call of a Haunted, because Muzzle Reborn was banned in this format, Dust Tornado, because it's also a good way of sniping out spell and traps. Double Jar of Greed, it's just more draw power and it helps you get off some more cards that you need in your hand. And finally, Phoenix Wingwing Blast is another card that can help pretty much just obliterate your opponent's board. It pretty much flings back whichever card that may be problematic to you right back on top of the opponent's deck. So even if they have, let's say, a Blackluster Soldier, you can just target that and it is just flung right back into the deck. And that is that. So of course the biggest Achilles heel of this deck is of course an opponent's Jinzo, but there's plenty of ways of getting rid of Jinzo in this deck in my opinion. So as a whole, this deck, it's really, really good in my eyes, and it's quite frankly my go-to deck of choice for a GOAT format deck. I got more GOAT format decks coming up sometime soon. I think I have around about 3 or 4 built in total as of right now, although I stopped because of the whole lockdown. But as soon as the whole lockdown is over, I'm hopefully going to continue along with the other decks. But with that being said, I've been Raging Raven. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and if you like this video, click the like button and subscribe if you want to see more videos. But until next time, I bid you adieu.